Growing up in Alabama in the 70s and 80s, I am totally pleased with the state of Alabama. Surprising, right? I know we like 47, 48 in education. I know the stereotypes. I know when I watch television, I hear people make fun of people from Alabama, but all this plays near and dear to my heart is home. So it's like that past brought me to an unguaranteed future, which is sort of like my present, which is a gift. That makes sense? So I can remember growing up, watching mom and dad's floor model TV, seeing the outside world, places like New York and LA. At the same time, I was an avid world book encyclopedia reader. So that took me beyond the invisible borders of the US. And so I've traveled the world in these encyclopedias. Also used them for schoolwork before Google. Uh, I wasn't worried about plagiarism or anything like that. And not because of my teacher, you know. My mama wasn't playing none of them games, so. Uh, but I was able to leave home in like 1998, joined the Army, took a stay over in Korea for about 2 years. I got an opportunity to go build sandcastles in the sandbox in the Middle East for about 8 months, Iraq. Um, but I returned home in about 2007, and I was able to manage a hip hop group from the 7-2, G side, out of Athens, Alabama. We were good. I think we were great. You can look this up on Wikipedia. Remember that name. Um, but no, so we were able to go around the world, travel the US, go abroad, places like Scandinavia, and I mean, turn the crowds up. But it seemed like it was more than music when we were outside of the state. It seemed like we were ordained the number one answerers to the number one questions to anybody from Alabama. Does Alabama have paved roads? So when I would come back home, I would, do more studies about my region and where I was from. And one of the first places that I stopped was Florence, Alabama, and Mr. William Christopher Handy, the father of blues. Man, I went to Alabama A&M. W.C. Handy was the band director there in 1900 to 1902. But two events stick out the most to me and resonate with me. One is the movie St. Louis Blues. This film was released in 1929 in collaboration with Bessie Smith. She's from Chattanooga, also along the 7-2. Remember her name. What I think about when I look at this film is who recorded it, the editing process, the rehearsals, and even the public seeing a film like this in 1929. Now, what most people don't realize is what you saw in this film was the 7-2 culture. And I always tell people I'm from a place that influences the world, and most people don't know it. The second piece of Handy's life is the film St. Louis Blues, but it's the one that was released in 1958. This starred Nat King Cole. Nat King Cole played the role of W.C. Handy. Mahalia Jackson was in this film, Ruby Dee, Cab Calloway, and in 1958, this area, North Alabama, influenced the world again. Can you imagine this, where we live at, influencing people in New York and LA? When it comes to the Harlem Renaissance, sometimes I ask myself, what were they rebirthing? I feel like they was rebirthing the 7-2, that's just me. There's a rite of passage in my household. I call it the Roots passage, the movie Roots. Before I was of age, mom or dad would send me to the room. Once again, that floor model TV was loud, so I still could hear Roots till I dozed off. But once I finally got a chance to see Roots, I could put a face with the name, with the voices. Chicken George, Kizzy, Kunta Kinte. And this film was amazing. And I kind of see why mom and dad didn't want me to watch it at an early age. But once I was of age, I understood it. And when I found out who wrote the film, Alex Haley, I was even more amazed. Now, I'm learning all this stuff at a grown age. But Alex Haley graduated high school in Huntsville, Alabama. His father was a professor at Alabama A&M University. He also went on to write another book called Queen. Queen made it to television as well. It was a 3-part series on CBS. Queen was a story of Haley's grandmother, Queen Jackson Haley. Halle Berry played the role of Queen. Danny Glover, Martin Sheen, Jasmine Guy. In 1993, this area once again was on major TV, influencing the world of who we are. He also wrote one of the greatest books of my life, the autobiography of Malcolm X. A kid who graduated high school in the same city that I'm from wrote the book, the autobiography of Malcolm X. I can go across town in my city, Oakwood University. There was a slave by the name of Peter Blow, AKA Dred Scott. When Dred Scott made it to Missouri, Dred Scott had a case that made it to the Supreme Court. Great, this case is huge in history. Go back to Wikipedia and look that up. Remember that name. But Dred Scott took the story of the 7-2 to the Supreme Court. Not his time in Missouri, but his time here. On Oakwood's campus, you also had the architect of rock and roll, Little Richard, was a student in Huntsville, Alabama. He's buried there right now. I'm gonna go back to that floor model TV. On Wednesday nights, Take 6, a group that started in Huntsville, Alabama, 2 miles from the home that I was raised in, influenced the world every Wednesday. Martin, I'm the man, ba-da-ba-ba. Y'all see why I was managing the hip hop group? But Take 6 is from Huntsville, Alabama, and one of the best sitcoms of all time. You heard a Huntsville group influencing the world every Wednesday. My last stop is Chattanooga, Tennessee. Bessie Smith. I started my hustling. When I mean by hustling, entrepreneurship, learning, the family business in restaurants and grocery stores that we had. The Bessie Smith Strut was a street festival. Bessie Smith was the lady who shot the film with W.C. Handy along the 7-2. She's from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She's from East 9th Street, which is now MLK. And I was the kid out there from my uncle's barbecue restaurant. Arena Barbecue. Hey, come get your Arena Barbecue. Hey, mister, come get you some of this Arena Barbecue. I think my uncle still owe me some money, too, because I didn't get paid that day. But I just want everybody to know, I didn't learn any of this until I was an adult. Just imagine if we put more of our story versus his story. This, what I'm telling you, is everybody's story. And I'm also challenging more people, even if you're not from here, go back to your region, understand it, talk more about it. This is what we need to keep moving forward. We have a lot of people coming in from out of town. You guys have no culture, and that's why I'm doing this. So, I said, remember Wikipedia. If you don't believe anything I said tonight, just go to Wikipedia and look it up. Wikipedia was founded by Jimbo Wells from Huntsville, Alabama. Now, you may not believe Wikipedia. You might want to go to Discovery Channel. Discovery Channel was founded by John Hendricks from Huntsville, Alabama. So now do you understand why I say I'm from a place that has influenced the world and most people don't know it? Yes. Thank you.